Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this, we're going over some of the cool things that I thought were really interesting with Luffy Ace, and I wanted to go over some of them. And I also wanted to go over, like, the survivability of the team. You know, everybody knows about the damage, so let's go over the survivability a little bit. We're talking about pinch healing, damage reduction, all that stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so I was doing some cool math, and we were looking at Luffy Ace, and we were trying to figure out stuff on pinch healing for Luffy Ace. So, one of the things I get asked most on stream is, hey, what's up with Luffy Ace? Is he like still a viable unit on JP? Is he a very good unit? And to be honest, he is still very good, but the problem a lot of times when we don't use Luffy Ace is because the boss has an orb boost interrupt. So if there is a new boss that it just comes out, has an orb boost interrupt or an orb manipulate interrupt, we don't want to use Luffy Ace. Main reason for that is because if that Luffy Ace triggers that and has to pop that in order to get the Luffy Ace form. So we typically do not use Luffy Ace in those situations because it happens very often. An orb boost interrupt and an orb manipulate interrupt together is very common to have one or the other on a Coliseum boss, and it does happen a lot in raid bosses that you'll see coming in the future. But if they don't have that problem, one of the things I want to look at today is like, hey, how good is Luffy Ace as far as survivability? Like as far as damage goes, everybody knows it's really strong. And with the introduction of Whitebeard Marco, looking at all the healing that you get from Whitebeard Marco, healing for like 8,000 plus every single turn, with the meat orbs that you can get for 2 guaranteed meat orbs, it is really strong to use that character. Well, how does Luffy Ace stack up? Well, Luffy Ace also has a similar damage reduction type ability where you can get a 15% damage reduction, I believe, on Luffy Ace if you are using Luffy Ace as your Luffy as your captain, and if you guys do use the Luffy Ace special, it is a 20%. I think that's true. It might be 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 15. I have to Google it. But looking at Luffy Ace, one of the things that keeps Luffy Ace alive, and one of the teams that a lot of people are going to want to run on Global, is this specific Free Spirit team. And the reason they're going to want to run this is because there's a lot of things that's getting around. Now, the Flux unit on this team, in my opinion, is going to be this Kobe. Now, it is replaceable with a lot of different other units. You don't really need him. Right now, what I'm using him for is in case you get block orbs. If you didn't get block orbs, then another unit you can use is the Garp. You can use a chain locker like Boa. You can use Frankie to remove positive ups on boss. You can use the Coliseum Rayleigh, etc. So a secondary utility unit is basically what he is there for, and you get damage other ways. So there are a lot of reasons to use this specific team, and one of the things on this team is that a lot of people don't know is that every single unit on this team has pinch healing, and it's really strong. Luffy Ace at max pinch heal at he's fully rainbowed is a below 50%. He's going to heal for 1.5 times his recovery. Now, the thing that you're not notice here is, unfortunately, you're not going to be using this character as Luffy Ace all the time. If you hit the little switch option, you're going to have the Luffy Ace going into the Luffy form, which is 446 recovery, and you go into the Ace form, which is 432 recovery. So you get a little bit less healing than you would if you do have him in the Luffy Ace form. And of course, you can see the damage values fluctuate as well. That's why you can see a larger difference when hitting with Ace and then you can with Luffy, of course, besides the 3.5 times captain multiplier. Ace as a captain has 1987 attack, whereas Luffy only has 1872 attack, so there are some major differences there. But the recovery thing is what we're really going to look at today, and the reason I want to look at that is because when looking at Luffy healing for pinch healing at 446 times 1.5 is about 669. I actually composed a chart of all the characters on the team, and these are the recovery stats that we're going to have. So if we go back to the team here, you can see that each one of these characters has a significant amount of recovery. And Sabo is going to heal for 1,074, healing for 2 times his recovery. Marco is going to heal for 1.5, and it's going to be with 100 recovery candies because it makes sense about what recovery candies on Marco because of his captain ability. You're going to heal for 828. You're also going to have Bonnie, who with recovery candies has 534 recovery, which will be 801. Kobe will be at 402, which will go to 603 after the pinch heal at 1.5. So every single character on the team heals below 50% will heal for 1.5 times recovery. So looking at this all together, what I found out, and we calculated the total amount that you would get for healing, including auto heal, and the total amount you heal is 5,644. That comes out to be 4,644 if you do use just the pinch healing, and 1,000 for the healing per turn. Now, do not get recovery up stat on this team because that is not how pinch healing is increased. Recovery up socket ability, it only increases the recovery of your entire team and does not help pinch healing. So don't think that's going to help. It will help you with your meat orbs, but will not help recovery when you use pinch healing. Now, of course, if you do have a meat orb, definitely opt for the meat orb 100% of the time. If you see a meat orb versus pinch healing, it is much more effective to eat a meat orb than it is to pinch heal. Now with this team though, if you're wondering how much you can pinch heal and how much you can survive, with all perfects, winning all 6 units, that's healing for 5,600 in one for every perfect. So that's actually pretty strong. And the fact that you actually get 15% damage reduction, I believe, it might be 10, I don't know, I have to check. With each Luffy, this team is actually very strong and really, really good at survivability as far as a whole batch team goes. So I just wanted to have a short video explaining how strong Luffy Ace is as far as survivability goes. As far as damage goes with this particular team, as well as utility goes, you can get rid of almost everything in the entire game. You can get rid of chain lock, chain coefficient, bind, what else does Bonnie get rid of now? Paralysis, Google Bonnie. Paralysis, what else? Recovery down, change block. Oh, we already have a block orb changer in Bonnie, so I don't even need to bring Kobe. So if you wanted to switch out Kobe for another pinch healing type character, another one that I would bring, it lowers your total overall healing, but does get rid of the other buffs in the game, would be Frankie, if you do have a limit broken. Now Frankie, no one really uses because he's like really discounted in a lot of different ways, but he does get rid of a lot of the boss buffs. So definitely consider limit breaking your Frankie if you are considering getting a character limit broken. It's not like a priority, but definitely gets rid of a lot of buff plus. He gets rid of percent damage cut, end of threshold, end of turn damage, end of turn heal buff, and attack up. So as well as enrage. So 5 buffs that you find really annoying. The really nice one is threshold. So the fact that you get rid of threshold is really, really nice. Percent damage removal, there are going to be other characters that you can get in the future that will be very helpful to get rid of those. But for right now, this is the team I would run if I'm going to run this. Now you get a little bit less healing, as you can see at 181 here. I haven't limit broken my Frankie yet, but I might do it just because of this reason. So we'll see. Now, a lot of other people think like V2 Rayleigh would be good in this team, and unfortunately, all you get out of V2 Rayleigh on this team is Chain Lock, and that it's not even good because I would rather have Chain Boost on this team because of the back-end hitters that you have on this team. Chain Boost would actually be almost more effective in more situations than Chain Lock because of what you can get with Marco. You get the bind removal, the Chain Lock removal, and the Chain Limit removal. All that is really good, as well as 90% damage reduction, so the same amount of damage reduction you get from Rayleigh, except you don't have to be below 30% HP to trigger it. So definitely very, really strong, and the fact that you're always going to have at least 2 to 3 strength units on your team, making him very useful for your Luffy Ace teams. So otherwise, V2 Rayleigh will be using this team. Just most of the time, you're not going to use him. But as survivability goes, that is one particular team they can use with a full pinch heal spectrum, and there are other characters that you could swap in for this Frankie. Of course, now not a lot of those are going to have pinch healing, so just know that if you are trying to get a character that has pinch healing on this team, it will be very difficult to put in there. Now, a buff that it does come up a lot in future content that you're not going to see, that you're going to see a lot more of, would be really good to have V2 Boa for. And now I hate on V2 Boa constantly, and that's just because I just don't like her. But to be honest, on this particular team, she's actually going to be very useful because what she does is provide a utility that very few other characters do. And the fact that she is named Boa is actually very helpful. She actually has maxed out at 598 recovery without any candies and 698 with candies. So that means on her pinch heal, she actually heals for a ridiculous amount. So if we go to her pinch heal, it's set 2 times multiplier. So we do 698 times 2. That comes out to 1396, which is the highest on the entire team as far as pinch healing goes. However, this is the only thing you'll use Boa for if you do max pinch heal on her. This is a very, very, very low priority. Do not max pinch heal on this Boa right away. And a nice thing here is that she starts out at 2 times, but you have to be below 10%, 15, 20, 30, and then 50. So you have to have basically max pinch healing on her and go really deep on her really deep on Boa. Really deep on Boa in order to fully utilize this pinch heal socket effectively. But the thing that she does do is she provides an orb beneficial enable. Now, negative beneficial orb enable is a constant buff that you're going to see in future content, and she is one of the few characters in the game that can counteract that. If you didn't know, positive beneficial orb enable counteracts negative beneficial orb enable, meaning so if you pop a beneficial orb enable before you go into the room, the boss cannot pop their negative beneficial orb enable unless they're like Colosseum Pedro and they remove all positive buffs. Now, that does happen some of the time, but does not happen all the time. So Boa can be used in those situations in order for you to get lots and lots of damages. So just know that Boa could be an effective use unit on this team, but not all the time. It really just depends on how you're going to do it. You get block orbs are matching, bomb orbs are matching, tandem, meat, all those are matching because of Marco and Bonnie, so you have lots of pinch healing and survivability. So overall, this is one of the strongest teams in the game. Definitely recommend this for a lot of different people. And of course, this last unit is completely flexed for whatever you need it for. If you cannot use a chain booster, of course, you have chain lockers with Rayleigh, you have Carrot, you also have a lot of other free spirit units that you can use, but not a lot of them have pinch healing. And of course, when the new Bobbin comes out, he's going to fit in a lot of different things for your Luffy Ace teams. The constant thing I keep getting asked is, when will Luffy Ace, is Luffy Ace relevant in all future content? And the answer is yes, especially with the introduction of Bobbin. One of the things that this team in particular failed against, which will not be available on the global version until you get the Guild Tesoro batch. I think it's Guild Tesoro. Is it? No. Until you get the Katakuri batch, sorry. Is you're going to not be able to remove threshold damage reduction, percent damage reduction, increased defense, and end of turn healing. Bobbin fits all of these, which is really, really nice. And he's also going to reduce attack down duration by 5 turns, change adjacent orbs into matching. So a lot of really great things from this Bobbin. He fits the team, makes it so a full rounded team. The only thing that Luffy Ace actually fails against is 2 different things. The first is going to be orb boost interrupts, which is really a big problem for Luffy Ace. So that does happen in future content. So if it does happen, then that is a major problem for Luffy Ace, because you do need to pop the Luffy Ace special in order to get the ability out. And the second is percent damage reduction. Now that goes away once you get into the area where you're kind of like getting Bobbin and all that, which shouldn't be too long now for global, probably about 2 months or so. That's really the only thing that Luffy Ace fails against, is those 2 mechanics, and those do pop up in future content, and when they do pop up, that's when you start going to see more issues. But overall, it's not super difficult to beat the content with Luffy Ace. You may have difficult, like the most difficult Chaos Colosseums, etc., but beyond that, pretty much everything else should be wide open to you. But having said that, guys, my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.